Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for stopping by the channel. It's your favorite bearded bot. What can I break? I've had a few people over the course of my streams, just you know, through chat or whatever, that are asking me, what are my stream settings? What am I doing to kind of get a decent stream? Because I'm only running on a single PC. Um, the vast majority of the components are over 6 years old. So, the only thing I've added to this computer is a newer video card. So GTX 1660 Super. Um, but I've watched a lot of YouTube videos, and I've watched a lot of YouTube videos of people who have way better rigs than I do. And so, what I kind of wanted this to be was a video for people who may not have the greatest PC in the world, or, may not have the greatest video card in the world. Before I got this one, I was running on a GTX 560 Ti. And so I had to dial down a whole bunch of settings. But, through trial and error, I think I've got a pretty setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys what works for me. I mean, your mileage may vary, so have you're gonna have to tweak it to your best settings for your PC. Um, but let's go ahead and get into it. And so I'm gonna bring OBS. So I use Stream Elements, OBS Live, and so we're gonna just kind of go off of that. So go ahead and go into the settings. So general, you're not gonna really need to change much there. Your stream, you're gonna connect it to whatever service you have, Mixer, Twitch, whatever may have you. So here's where we start getting into some of the things that'll help your stream out. So let me actually pull this up. So my current download and upload speed that we're going to do. And I just want to show you guys what I currently have. So I technically am supposed to be getting gig down and I think like 30 or 40 meg up. So you can see I need to talk to my ISP for one. But when you're streaming, download isn't the biggest cause of a bottleneck. Upload, this is what causes the biggest part of your bottleneck. A lot of, like, granted, I get almost 40, so I have a decent upload. But for people who have like a 5 or 10 meg upload speed, it can be detrimental. So one thing to note is that your bit rate is going to be dependent on your upload speed. So if you only have a 2 meg upload speed, then you're going to want to put this at about 2000 kilobits. I could be wrong, but I believe Twitch like governs your bit rate at I think 4,000 or 4,500 if you're not a partner. But I have it at 4,000 just because I have a decent upload speed. So kind of play with that. That's going to be your first kind of, thing to look at. Your encoder. So you have a software and a hardware. Software is going to be processor heavy. So if you have a better processor, not as good of a GPU, then software is going to be the way to go. If you have a better GPU, in my case, like I have a better GPU than I do my CPU because my CPU is old, I'm going to go with hardware. And the NVENC setting is for NVIDIA specifically. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card, go with NVENC. If you have an AMD or Intel or whatever have you, other than NVIDIA, go with hardware. Audio bitrate, I have never messed with. I normally don't need to. Granted, I'm still a small streamer, so I mean, I haven't gotten into the real nitty gritty of what's going on. So I mean, you know, take that as it is. But then your recording path, that's just wherever you want your videos to go and whatnot. So audio. So if I wasn't recording at the moment, you could do this on stereo or mono, depending on. I know when I was using my headset microphone, I had to set it on mono because my recording would only come through the left ear. So, but now that I actually got a decent mic, I'm on stereo and you can hear it through both ears. Desktop audio is just going to be going to whatever your default output is. Same thing with mic, whatever your default input is. Don't really need to mess with anything other than that. Video. So I wish I wasn't recording with OBS, or I could show you a better explanation of this. But your base canvas resolution, that is going to be what your default monitor resolution is. What you're going to be like the max your stream could be, whatever your monitor resolution is. And your output, that's going to be what's streamed out. So that is where you really need to play with those. Like I stream on 720p because I don't have that great of a graphics card. I just have, I have a decent one. It's newer, but it's a 1660 Super, which the Super is specifically for streaming. It has a little bit better of an encoder on it. The other thing you're gonna want to govern if you're on an older PC or an older video card is your common FPS value. So I even limit this to 60 because most streamers do. I mean, you know, even if you're streaming at 1080p, you're still going to do 60 frames a second. Whenever I was on my older graphics card, I put it at, I capped it at 30 because 30 FPS is still a decent enough picture, but it cuts a lot of the load off of your CPU or your GPU encoder, whichever one you're using. I know everyone wants to do 60 frames, 120 frames, but really, when you're streaming, the vast majority of people are going to be on mobile. So you're not, 60 frames isn't as super important. I mean, that's what we all strive for. But start off on 30 frames. If your CPU or GPU is still handling it, bump it up. I mean, it goes to 48 and then 50 and then eventually 60. But you know, play with those and see what works best for your rig. But that's the main thing that I would change is your output. Because I think it defaults to either 1080 or 720. Whenever I had my old video card, I was streaming at 540p, which is I think 980 by 540. I think that's what it is. But I mean, you don't have to stream at 4K quality to get people to come to your stream. What they're mainly looking for is the interaction with you. And if they get a decent, you know, viewing experience, even better. Now, if it's super choppy and you know you're dropping frames and things, yeah, that's gonna turn people off. But if you can scale down some of your settings to be not the best picture quality, but it's smooth. People look for smoothness. They don't want to see you over here and then magically over here the next second because you lagged out or you glitched out. So dial down as far as you need to for your hardware. The other thing and the biggest thing is I don't have Fortnite up because that's what I typically play, but cap your game FPS because I only have a 60 hertz monitor. I have an old monitor. Anything above 60 frames does me no good. So even if I was able to push 120 frames, it wouldn't do me any good because my monitor couldn't even support it. So I cap my game at 60 frames a second. And so that gives those extra resources to the encoder to be able to give the smoothness to your stream. Those are the two biggest things are this common common FPS value and your game FPS value. Those will take so much load off your GPU or CPU that will help immensely in your stream. As far as my alerts and overlays and everything, I am just using Stream Elements. You know, just imported in from there. I'm not using, other than my microphone, I'm using no other mixer. This is straight microphone into OBS. Same thing with my desktop audio. There's no mixer in between. There's no anything on my mic. I will say though that I do have a compressor. So compression will kind of help you eliminate those peaks where you go in the red, you go out of range basically for your voice, and you hear those guys that screech out. Compression helps mitigate that. It'll help it kind of keep it in your normal level. And noise gate is to help eliminate background noise. So it will only, so when you have a noise gate on your microphone, it will only pick up after you get to a certain noise level. So this open threshold. So only when we get to 26 decibels will the mic actually start picking up my voice. But if I talk like this, it'll normally pick it up. And so that's what a noise gate does. It kind of mitigates, any background noise, anything you might have there. For the most part. Otherwise, that's pretty much the vast majority of what I have set. I mean, I have a very basic setup. I do have a green screen that I got off Amazon. I'll put the links in the description below. As well as the microphone and the webcam I'm using. I'm using a blue, a Blue Yeti Blackout Edition. I actually just got this 2 days ago. And Logitech, I'm using a C920 Pro. Again, links will be in the description for those. So, I mean, my webcam was $60. The microphone was $120. But actually, I did want to point this out. I did want to pull up CPU ID just to show you actually legitimately what I am running on. I'm on an i7 3770. We can do that real quick. Let's see. Let's see, when was it? So this is the processor. And it doesn't tell me when it was released. Anyway, it's old. So I will tell you, it's I think 6 years old when I got it. But the main board is a Z77 Extreme 6, which again is about the same age. Same thing with the memory. It's got 16 gigs of G Skill. It's PC3 12800. Great graphics. GTX 1660 Super. That is the newest piece of hardware in this build. But other than that, yeah, I mean, I have kind of a basic setup, but it gets decent stream quality, 720p at 60 frames. When it gets in real busy stuff, you might see a little pixelation, but I really think when you cap your frames, that's where I saw the biggest difference. Is when you cap your frames, it gives all those resources back to your CPU and GPU to do. But if you have any comments or questions, drop them in the comments. Let me know, and I will try and address them on a future video. So I appreciate you guys, and remember, if you liked it, drop a subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a like, all those fun things. And I will see you guys later. Thanks.